What's going on, fam? Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's get this fucking party started, shall we, bitches?
The sun is shining, birds are chirping, bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing, testing, testing. Testing, testing, testing. Testing, 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 testing. Testicles, testicles, testicles. Welcome, everyone, to episode 1165 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beercast, broadcast, gangcast, mancast, pimpcast, sleazecast, and slaycast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. What is going on, beaches? What's going on, booshes? What's the dealy? Yo. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to episode 1165. It's your boy, Papa Swolio. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Periscope, and Twitch. And of course, if you don't want to watch me, if you don't want to look at my face, that's cool. That's cool. I understand. You can catch the podcast on Spotify. You can catch it on Apple Podcasts. You can catch it on Google, everywhere. If you want to learn more, swolenormousx.com for all the links. What is going on, my Swole fam? So we are in it. We are in it to win it. This is episode 1165, and just finished up recently, like an hour ago, the accountability meeting inside Swolenormous X for those of you that are Swolenormous X members, for those of you that are Daily Swole Club members. So hopefully this was the launch to the middle of your week. Come on. It's Monday. We don't do week starts. We do middle of the week. The week start was Friday, and the weekend is fucking Wednesday or something. Shift your mindset. Shift your mindset of when your week starts. Every day is a chance to fucking crush. Every day is a chance for you to take your shit to the next level. So I hope you're doing that today. Today we're going to be doing some more Q&A. So if you have questions, you can drop them. But I also wanted to start this episode discussing some things about nutrition. Now, a lot of you follow me in a lot of different places. And today I posted. I don't know. Maybe I'm not going to post anymore. I'm just going to pocust some things. I posted a video about another. I posted another video about a vegan nutritionist. So if you don't follow me on YouTube, that's fucking silly. But a lot of you probably caught that video today, and one of the issues that I have, it's not about being vegan. We'll talk about nutrition, so we can talk nutrition questions. So nutrition is science, of course, but lately nutrition is more about opinion than it is science, because you have a lot of conflict. You have science is brand new. Let me set the stage for anyone who's like, no, vegan's the best, plant-based is the best. Did you see that new documentary? Did you see that new movie? Movies have been around for 100 years. Human beings have been around for millions, and we've never been we've never been vegan. So we're here because we eat meat. Now, the way we eat meat, the quality of the meat, how much meat we consume, the state of farming and massive, there's a lot of problems. But I think people want to have an answer and it to make sense, and they try to force things into their ideology, whether or not it's the best for their body. And if you know other people around you, not everyone eats the same way. Not everyone has the same level of success with a diet with red meat or with fish or with vegan. So you see some people that are very healthy looking and some people that are not healthy looking. And there are times when someone that is pushing an ideology for themselves, or trying so hard to be plant-based, trying so hard to be vegan, trying so hard to eliminate entire food groups, that is where it gets really sketchy. That's where it gets really, really dangerous. So here, for those of you that are watching the multi-stream, this is the thumbnail from the latest video today on YouTube. You can check it out on my YouTube channel at Swolenormous. I titled it Unhealthy Emmy because Her name is Healthy Emmy on Instagram, and she has a following on YouTube. I think like 30,000 people or something in her profile. Another thing I don't understand. That's a whole other topic. I don't know why on Instagram people feel like they need to put their subscriber count from YouTube in their Instagram profile. Like, who cares? If they follow you there, they'll know how many people follow you. Like, why do you have to say that? Because if you don't have a lot of followers on Instagram, you say, hey, I have, 1 million on YouTube or 100,000 on Facebook or this. I suck here, but I'm great there. I don't know why people feel the need to promote their subscriber count. Just say, hey, go follow me on YouTube too. Check out my YouTube video. Hey, check me out on Facebook. You don't have to flaunt and swing your subscriber count somewhere else. No one cares. No one cares. People care, but no one cares. It just means that you're not doing well distributing your attention. Anyway, that's always kind of bothered me, and a lot of people do that. So if you're doing it, don't be a jabroni. Stop it. Take the sub count out of your Instagram profile. So, well, the thing is the stream on Instagram. The reason why the stream is better here is because Instagram has to be from a phone. And Instagram's pretty damn good on the phone. Right now I have a light, so it's a little bit distorted over here. But if you're catching it on YouTube or Facebook or wherever, you're going to get like the high quality stream, you get the high quality audio and all that stuff. Anyway, so today's video was about veganism. It was about not eating enough food. It was about literally being in a severe caloric deficit in terms of pretty much having an eating disorder. That kind of physique that she has, it's not natural. It's not natural to see your knees like that. It's not natural to have that much fucking thigh gap. It's not natural to look like that. That looks like someone who's emaciated. That looks like someone who was in a concentration camp. It's not a healthy look. It's not a good look, and it's not safe. And one of the issues with this type of I guess, I don't want to say this body type, because it's not like some people really aspire to have that. But when you have an eating disorder, you don't have a good relationship with how you look. You don't have the understanding of proper caloric intake. You don't have a proper body image. When you look in the mirror, you don't see what other people see. And it's the same way with bodybuilders or with obesity. Like, it's really the same fucking thing. It's the same thing. And this video, of course, my videos all have humor. My videos are all kind of like, hey, nuts in your chin. But this is a serious issue. And I think it's equally important to address extreme lack of nutrition, anorexia, bulimia, these types of issues, the same way it is with morbid obesity, because neither of these things are fucking okay. That's what pisses me off. Neither of these things are fucking okay. The fat acceptance, the healthy at every size. Like, this is fucking healthy at every size. You think this person's healthy at this size? This is not healthy at every size. This is not healthy. This girl's not healthy. This poor child is not fucking healthy. Now, when you are looking at this from an fat acceptance movement standpoint, this is what they say is wrong with the culture. This is wrong with diet. This is diet culture right here. This is diet culture. When you look at it from a carnivore or plant-based, this is a healthy, or this is what a lot of people look like. So within each kind of like faction, within each type of opinion, whether or not, like I said, you're plant-based, whether or not you believe in fat acceptance, whether or not you believe in CrossFit or cardio, or, it's not like cardio shouldn't be a religion. CrossFit shouldn't be a religion. Fat acceptance shouldn't be a religion. Like, we shouldn't have all these names for everything. Once you name something, you have a category which people are going to be either like, thumbs up or thumbs down, like pro or con. I follow this or I don't follow this. We need to kind of break the divide between all these things that separate. Like, a vegan, like, why can't you have animal products? Why can't you love animals and consume something from a fucking animal? Why does there have to be this blurred distinction? And I've said this for years. It's because of Disney movies. Disney fucks shit up. The Lion King is now trending because it's coming out in a day or two, right? Like, animals talk. Animals have conversations. It's not natural. Every single fucking movie since we are 3 years old have animals talking. Animals can't talk, by the way. Animals can't talk. Animals don't have names for themselves. We give them names. We give them names. We have them as pets. Okay? We do not have a good relationship with the animal kingdom, because we're human beings and because we have a large brain or frontal cortex, whatever the fuck it is, we are able to have higher thought. We are able to create things. We are able to make tools and manipulate our environment. Other creatures don't manipulate their environment. They live in it. They live in a tree, or they go into a cave, or a bear will get fucking salmon from the river. You're part of your environment. We take things from the environment. We fucking make buildings. We change it. We manipulate. So we are the winners of the world, so to speak. We seemingly destroy things, but we're not destroying things. We're just changing things. We have the ability to change things. And when you have millions and millions of these creatures that have the ability to change things, you're going to change a lot of things very quickly. And the more people that exist, there's more change. And of course, the earth is changing. There's pollution, this, that, and the other. But everything that we have created, whether you want to call it natural, artificial, it's still made from things on the earth. We took things in nature, in physics, chemistry, and we created things. So the word natural does get blurred too, even with food and even with like hard things like a table, like, oh, this is unnatural. Well, I mean, we made it from things that are on this earth. So what determines natural? Just things that happen by chance, or the fact that we can manipulate the materials that are in front of us and in our environment and create things from them. So there's a bunch of different ways to think about it, and you can fucking get deep in the weeds with philosophy and just kind of like just deep in the thought about these things. So not to get too lost with all that, but when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to veganism specifically, and the reason why I set this whole podcast up like that is because there's a lot of different ways to look at this. You could look at it from a training standpoint. You could look at it from just a perspective standpoint, from human, like a big macro standpoint. But you can look at this from this standpoint as well, like I'm going to talk about. So again, for those of you that have not seen this yet, this is the thumbnail from my video today, Unhealthy Emmy. This is a vegan nutritionist. She's a certified nutritionist, whatever that. Nutritionist is very loosely used. The word or the name or the title nutritionist is very loosely used in the industry. Okay, just because of certification, I don't think gives you the ability to tell someone what to eat. So, for example, myself, I like to guide you to determining which foods are best for you. It's very sketchy when you call yourself, oh, I'm a nutritionist. I'm certified. I got a certification. I learned how to count calories. We have apps. We have so much access to information. It's more about how are you perceiving your environment? How are you perceiving food? How are you approaching healthy eating? And there is individualized nutrition. It's called bio-individuality. It's called bio-individuality. We're all different. We're all different. We're all different people, and we have different things that we like. We have things that work differently within our systems, and some people thrive on different styles of eating. What I am seeing in the fitness industry, in the nutrition industry, I am seeing a lot of these fitness influencers, personalities, again, nutritionists. I did a video on another one, Christina Glows, and she was much worse than Emmy. She was extremely emaciated, hardcore anorexia, really almost deformed looking. And this is what we're losing connection with what is good for our bodies versus what do we follow as an ideology. Because veganism is really like a religion almost. It's not about health. It's about protecting the animals. It's about living an animal product free lifestyle. So it's not about, okay, how am I going to get the optimal health out of my body? So I'm going to repeat this again just because I want to make sure. I want to make sure that I'm getting the point across and that you're all picking up what I'm putting down. When you follow a kind of nutrition protocol, for example, veganism, it is, this is not a conversation about whether or not veganism is possible, whether or not veganism can work, whether or not you could be healthy as a vegan. That's another conversation entirely. But what I see is people that are following that without addressing the primary concern, which is their health. And if you are going after a nutrition protocol without the number one thing in your mind being your own personal health, this is what happens as a result. You get people that are extremely emaciated. You get people that disguise eating disorders as a vegan diet. because you're plant-based, because you're vegan, because you're a health conscious or an environmental conscious vegan, you're almost allowed by society standards to be skin and bones. This is almost expected when someone gives up a massive portion of the human diet, which is animal products. Because this goes far beyond, oh, I don't eat red meat. Maybe you prefer fish. Maybe you prefer chicken. Maybe you prefer turkey and lamb or wild game. You don't like maybe more mainstream or grain-fed red meat. Okay, some people have issues digesting. I used to have heartburn and have issues with red meat, but I was eating grain-fed and low-quality chicken. I was eating crap meat. But like I mentioned before in this podcast, I went through 6 months of extremely alkaline, fixed my acid reflux. This is years ago, reset, and then when I've returned eating 100% grass-fed products and I changed the quality of the foods and I focused on the quality of the foods, I've never had that issue again. So it wasn't the red meat, it was the quality of the food, and the quality of the food makes the difference. But what I'm seeing is people that are forcing or trying to force veganism. Let's say they love animals. Let's just take it like this. And that's great. My sister loves fucking animals. My sister is like a vegetarian, pretty much a vegan, ironically enough, but she rescues animals, and she does, raptor care. She does all this wildlife stuff. Hold on a second. Okay. Just sorry, I heard something. So she is very supportive of the animal kingdom, and she's always been since she was little. But when someone takes that approach and tries to force their nutrition based on that, maybe it doesn't work for them. And very often, it doesn't. And that's why when you say, well, how come there aren't more vegans? It's because a lot of people try that and they can't stick to it. And you can say, well, they didn't do it right, or they weren't inspired properly, or they did it improperly, they didn't transition. It's really uncomfortable. If you've tried it, it's very uncomfortable long term for most people, which is why most people don't do it. The reason why the majority of the world isn't vegan is because it's not a natural outcome. It's not a natural thing for humans to gravitate towards. However, it's very easy to cover. It's very easy to get distracted and to feel accepting of someone who is extremely emaciated, is extremely low body fat, is extremely bony, because they have that title of nutritionist, or they have that title as being a vegan or plant-based. People tend to overlook how skinny they are. And they're skinny because they're not getting the right nutrition. And even if you're in the let's say, I'll show the pic again because some people are saying you didn't see the pic. You got to go watch my video on YouTube. So if you are a vegan, if you are plant-based, it's no excuse to be extremely low body weight. It's not an excuse. I mean, for yourself, this isn't affecting me. This doesn't affect me. I'm not losing my health over this, but it bothers me when we see someone that is completely shrouding their eating disorder under the guise of being plant-based or being vegan. And this is not the first time that this has happened. It's very common. Because people that are more plant-based generally, or vegan, that's like the classic thing. They don't do it properly. They don't get all their nutrients. They're missing major things because you're not getting all your nutrients when you go only plant-based. You have to be very diligent in getting enough quality, enough calories, enough volume. And just because you're losing weight doesn't mean you're healthy. You can be extremely unhealthy, being extremely obese, and being extremely emaciated and extremely skinny. You're not getting in the caloric volume. You're not getting in the energy. Your body needs energy to survive. Your body needs energy to thrive. Your body needs energy, calories. And it's a lot harder for people to get in sufficient calories and all those micronutrients because you're cutting out an entire food group. You're cutting out animal products. It's not just meat. It's not just fish. It's like anything that comes from it has to do with a fucking animal. And some of these vegans even don't consume honey because it comes from a fucking bee. How ridiculous is that? How ridiculous is that? How far can you fucking take it? That's not the answer. That's not the answer. That's dangerous. That's scary. That's putting people at risk. And it's a huge problem. So what are we to do about this as a society? There's not much I can do for her. She has to help herself. But there's a lot of people that follow these large accounts. And when something trends like veganism or plant-based, and everyone talks about every fucking documentary that comes out, well, there's a lot of biased information out there. There are biased studies, there are biased videos, there are biased posts. Everything that's created by a human being is inherently biased. You can't have an unbiased opinion. You can't, because it's coming from a human being. Every single video, every single documentary, however unbiased it tries to be, is going to be biased. Whether it's the way it's edited, whether it's the music behind the the musical overlays, or the lighting, or the intro, just everything. Everything is always biased. You can't avoid a bias, which is essentially an opinion, which is essentially how it's positioned, because we're human beings. We're fallible. It's not going to be perfect. And this is my opinion. But I don't see how the opinion is, and this is just it's a very confident opinion. I'm not going to make a video about someone. I'm not going to make a video about this girl. Let me bring it back up again. Like, I'm not making this video about her just because. I didn't just make this video because by accident. I made this video because I saw a profile. It was sent to me that she's saying she's helping people lose weight and maintain a healthy weight, and that she's a vegan nutritionist. She's plant-based, and so in other words, it's one thing if someone is doing this for themselves. It's one thing if someone is having an Instagram profile, they're posting pictures of themselves eating, and they say, "Hey, I'm a vegan." I mean, that's very common. It's very common for someone to look unhealthy when they're cutting out a lot. Some people do keto and look like shit and have issues. Some people are vegan and overweight, so this is not limited to emaciated or anorexia. If she was doing this just with herself, like within her own little bubble, but when you say that you are a vegan nutritionist and health coach, that means that you are disseminating information like this to other people. That's where it crosses the line, because if you are not healthy yourself and you look extremely, extremely ill, and I see her in the videos, she's running, she's doing other things, like she's active and she seems like a sweet girl, to be honest. But it's a dangerous thing when you are putting yourself in the position. It's like having a fat personal trainer that's going to help you lose weight. Like, maybe you should lose weight yourself. Maybe as a fat, overweight personal trainer, you are not in the position to be giving diet advice. And I know a lot of you watching have seen overweight personal trainers. It's the conversation we need to have, because a lot of you may be dealing with this. Eric, why should we be concerned with what other people eat, though? I am agreeing with a lot of what you're saying. Should people who are not vegan educate those to steer clear of that diet? Well, that goes to my other points. I mean, it's a great question, Eric. Why should we be concerned with what other people are eating? We should be, but we shouldn't be. So it comes down to, okay, should we be getting in people's business? When you post things online, so by me posting this podcast, I mean, I'm putting myself out there. I put myself out there every day. You're putting yourself out in public. This is not just, okay, the way social media works, it's communication. So if you are in public with other people and someone's having a conversation with you in person, okay, they view their points, they put that in the conversation, then you give your viewpoints and you counter, or you have a discussion. What social media is, if you post something on social, if you post something on Instagram, you post a video on YouTube, you're putting yourself out there to be judged. You're putting yourself out there to be criticized. You are sending out a message, like a message in a bottle. You are sending out a message, which is opening the door for someone to make a response, which is what we do on YouTube, which is why we have this conversation. I think it's an important conversation. I love comedy. I love to make fun of things. I love to have funny edits and things like that. But I made it very clear in the YouTube video today, and you can check it out on my main YouTube channel at Swolenormous. A lot of you are watching on the Daily Swole podcast channel, so make sure you subscribe to both. But it's an important thing to address, because this is something that's being sent to a lot of people, and a lot of people are seeing this. She has 30,000+ people, so 40,000, 50,000 people, and a lot of people that see this kind of content. whether it's in person, whether it's an email, whether it's on websites. A lot of people don't subscribe. A lot of people don't follow. Not every single person that's a follower is what's the impact is. You're getting a lot of reach and a lot of people sharing, tagging, but it's a message that can be dangerous. And I want to make it clear again, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if you want to be a vegan. I make fun of vegans. I tease vegans because it's funny. It's the same thing like a CrossFitter. Like, there's nothing more annoying than a vegan CrossFitter. They just won't shut the fuck up about their workouts, about their diet, right? That's like the classic, because you're on this new kick. It's a new fad. Like, hey man, I do this, no animal products. I'm a vegan, bro. And you just fucking tell everyone, or you're doing CrossFit. You're excited. I get it. But we don't have all the science is fucking new. Science, documentaries, all this type of research, maybe last 50 years, last 30 years. Really, we're learning so much more now. Maybe in the next 100 years, what if we do find that, holy shit, if you are a vegan, like, we don't have all the answers yet, because there are a lot of people that have very healthy outcomes and very high performance and all these things that consume animal products. So the quality of the foods matter. The individual nutrition matters. So this is not a knock on vegan. I don't care if you want to be a vegan. If you're watching, you're a vegan. We have vegan people inside Swole X. It's totally cool if you want to be. But what doesn't cross over, no matter what, you should not be sacrificing your health, putting your health at risk for this lifestyle. You should not be putting your health at risk. There's no need to do that. It's not required. That's the issue, is that people are sacrificing their health, and you can tell by the way they fucking look. People don't look like that when they're healthy. That girl looks like someone that was saved from the concentration camps in World War II. She is borderline just completely skin and bones. She's really getting there. And it's very easy to cover that in the guise of being a nutritionist, weight loss. Oh, I'm just slender and I have a low build and I'm plant-based and that's just how it looks. Now, that's how you look like when you're nutrient deficient, when you're calorie deficient. And I'm putting this out there because a lot of you and a lot of people deal with extremes. We talk a lot about obesity and extra body fat weight, but this is one of the byproducts of people that are trying to always maintain a low body weight. This is what a lot of people are trying to attain. Like, neither is okay. Both are unhealthy. There's no such thing as healthy at every size. There may be healthy at a certain size for you, but you're playing Russian roulette when you're extremely thin and when you're extremely obese. It's an important conversation to have, because the way you look and the way we prefer women and men to look, that's going to change with society, right? You're going to have periods in time when, it's attractive to shave the chest or to shave your legs or to have long hair or a man bun or poofy hair or wear bell bottoms or wear sneakers or sandals. Those are societal trends. What you find attractive and what we put on a pedestal in terms of a society, that's going to keep on changing. But that's independent from health. And health and being thin and lean, that really got kind of blurred and that got overlapped too much, because just being lean and ripped doesn't mean you're healthy. You can be extremely unhealthy and be very lean and shredded. So that doesn't mean that you're healthy. That doesn't mean that you're healthy. And we forget that. We forget that because we've been putting like six-pack abs on a pedestal for decades. Oh, if you have abs, you're in great shape. It's like since bodybuilding and fitness really got popular in the 80s, abs have always been the thing. And then people were demonizing fat for years. And then it was low fat this, and then people are just chasing calories, but they're not eating quality foods. And then we had all this surge of vegetable oils and all this stuff, and people are still getting more and more sick. So it's the quality of the food, it's the lack of exercise, it's the psychological stress, it's the environmental toxins. But I mean, the bottom line is there isn't one answer that we can just point to, like, oh, this is the problem. All the problems come from this. But we're in a situation where there are a lot of different variables and shit's not going well. So I pose the question to all of you. This is something that is not getting better. So what is the problem? What is the problem? Maybe the problem is that we think that there is an answer. Maybe the problem is the fact that we think that vegan could be an answer, or paleo could be an answer, or carnivore could be an answer. Maybe they're all the answer. And the issue is people get on these fads and trends, but do not pursue their own health with the fervor and the passion in order to determine their optimal lifestyle and their optimal approach to nutrition. And it's very easy if you're not a vegan, or if you, let's say you're someone who believes in veganism. If someone does not believe in veganism and whatever you want to call it, then they're a bad person, and vice versa. Then they're, oh, that person. If you eat meat and you're like, oh, that person's just a, one of those vegans, one of those freaking vegans. It's more like an us versus you mentality. It's a team mentality, and that can get, and the tribalism gets really sketchy, because what if, look, how many of you seen like healthy vegans? They're out there. Healthy vegans are out there. There are people that maintain that lifestyle. They get their nutrients, they get their micronutrients. They prefer it. That's fine. Who am I to tell them not to do it? I just want people to pursue what's right for them, for their health. And I think it gets confused. I think it gets confused with the fads, with the trends, because we all want to do the right thing. I don't think anyone here wants to do bad. We want there to be, okay, this is the best way. This is the answer. And that's a good thing. We want that to be the way it is. We want to find that answer. Oh, the answer's out there. If I'm just this, or if I eat just this way, then I'll be healthier. And you want to do it right. You want to do it right the first time. However, that's why I promote the elimination diet inside Swolenormous X with all of you that are members. If we talk about the approach to your individualized nutrition, and we focus on how we can make ourselves better as an individual, then we can gather the right information that works for us, that we can pass on to those around us. And I think if we go after the quality of the food and the caloric value of that food a little bit more, I think that's the best way to do it. Why does it have to be vegan? Why does it have to be carnivore? Why can't it be both? Why can't you have fucking asparagus next to a steak like I had last night? That was delicious. It was excellent. But why can't we have that? Why can't that be? Why can't that be the kicker? Why can't you have both? And the quantity of how much meat you consume and blah, blah, blah. It's like, we have to figure this stuff out. But we have to give science some time. We have to have some longevity. But we can be our own science experiments, because we are. What you put in your body, you're testing to see how it reacts, to see what happens. Like, that's part of the process of living. That's part of the process of going through and determining what works best for your body. I think if you do an elimination, it solves that problem. You don't have to question things. You don't have to wonder. You're actually seeing what your body reacts, or how your body reacts to these issues. Let's take some questions. I really want to see what you all are thinking about all this. What's up, Sean? So what do you think about this whole situation? I've seen super thin people who eat anything and never gain. Wish I had that metabolism. Jamie Frey, my friend, has done all those crazy fads, keto diets, whatever, no carb diet, and they always get sick 2 to 3 weeks into any trending diet. And there's a certain way from to approach nutrition. You just don't want to throw like complete 180. You have to transition. On YouTube, Wildland Warrior Coda. I'm from Canada, and the issue with other people's diets is if they are telling people it's healthy and it's not, taxpayers foot the bill for their illnesses, not to mention children watch these people. It all starts with the family. It really does. Like the way you teach your children, the way you guide them through, the way you help them figure out what's best for them. Like if you're feeding your kids just garbage and trash and candy all the time, they really aren't going to have a good relationship with food, in the sense they're not going to understand what real food tastes like. I've met children that didn't like apples because they weren't sweet. Like, oh, I don't like that apple, I don't like the taste, but they'll eat candy. You don't think an apple is sweet? I mean, if you have a shitty apple, it's a shitty apple. I mean, fruit can go bad. The thing with candy is that it always tastes the same, no matter where you are in the country, because they make it at the same factory. They boom, boom, stamp it out and send it everywhere. So it's consistent as shit. Same thing with soda and anything artificial. But when you have an apple, there's different kinds. You picked it when it's ripe. You picked it from the tree. All these different things. But a lot of people don't have the right connection with it, and that's a problem from the way kids are raised. Del Matthews on Swole Podcast on YouTube. I know quite a few healthy vegans, but they do it for their health and eat a lot, and they're fabulous cooks. All right, so it makes sense if you invest your time and you really put your effort into the lifestyle, and you're cooking your food and you're covering your bases. Like I said, you can get your nutrients in as a vegan. I think we can all understand that, which is why when you go vegan, you don't just die instantly. Crystal Mobley on YouTube, most people just have complete ignorance to nutrition and fitness because it has been eliminated from basic education. Also true. We know the education system is a fucking hot mess, so it comes down to how you're raising them and what's going on in the home. So that's why this kind of things are so important. If you see these, that's I think why a lot of this stuff is very important and why we have to have this conversation, because a lot of you, and I'll bring up the picture on the stream again from the video that I posted today. This is on my main YouTube channel at Swolenormous. Title or the thumbnail says Unhealthy Emmy, and this is about another vegan nutritionist. For those of you that are just joining, another vegan nutritionist who is plant-based and coaching other people to lose weight and to live a healthier lifestyle, and she looks emaciated. And I don't know why it's always vegans. Actually, I do know why. You're cutting out like fucking a massive, massive portion of the human diet and what's available. And when you do something like that, you are setting yourself up for potential disaster, because there's just so many things that you can miss. There's so many things that you can miss by eliminating that. If you have trouble hearing on Instagram, you go follow on YouTube or Facebook, because that's where you're getting the audio here. So that's something that we need to pay attention to. When you see a video online, when you see someone's profile and you see what they're talking about and what they're disseminating, what information, understand that these people are talking to their families, they're talking to their children, they're passing this information on. And this, when you watch a video, when you see a post, when you comment, when you respond, that information is going in your brain. That information is going in. You're going to have that conversation with someone else later. You're going to pass on that information. You're going to have this conversation. It's going to be an issue. It's going to be something that comes back. And that's important to understand. These conversations and these kinds of ideologies and these types of thoughts and fads just spread faster now, because we have Twitter and YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, and you can share something and a lot of people can see it all at once. So fads spread faster. When someone has a thought or someone has something that they're disseminating and it's potentially dangerous, a lot of people are hearing about this that are not necessarily in their comments section. And we just talked about how it has to start in the home. It has to start with the parents. It has to start with our education system and who's teaching the youth of our world and the country. But those are the parents. Those are the people that are watching YouTube videos. Those are the people that are looking on Instagram and Facebook. So even though we're having this conversation here, the reason why this conversation is important is because these conversations are being passed down. And if you think about it that way, it's going to take a few more generations to really get a lot of this stuff hashed out. Like, we're going to have a lot of issues continuing after this because we don't know the long-term effects of all the stuff we're doing. What about the bodybuilding supplements that I've talked about recently? What about all the artificial sweeteners and the things that have come around maybe in the last 10 or 20 years in terms of GNC and Vitamin Shop and all these, bodybuilding.com, all these supplements? People weren't taking them in the same quantities in the 90s as they are now. Everyone's taking shit. Everyone's just going to these stores and taking these pills and stuff. How is that going to affect health? How's our health going to be in 50 years? Maybe people sucking down these powders for 4 decades are going to we're going to have an uptick in cancer or Alzheimer's, or who the fuck knows? And there's so many variables with each person's life. You can see how these things can really get confused, and how it's really challenging to pick apart the data in order to determine which is the determining factor or which is a strong correlation. We could find some of those things with those meta-analyses, but those also have holes because correlations is not causation. Just because a lot of people that wear white shoes end up being serial killers. It doesn't mean that if you wear white shoes, you're going to be a serial killer, but that's what the fundamental of a correlative study shows. And you can have a strong correlation, but it doesn't mean that it's a cause. And that's tough because when you have something, let's say even within a test within the human body, you might take something, or in a lab or in a petri dish, you add some kind of enzyme and you say, oh, it does this. Well, inside the human body, maybe the stomach acids would have destroyed it before it got there. Oh, this supplement works for endurance. Well, that was injected in the study, but then when you consume it orally in a pill form, the stomach acids destroy it, and then you never actually get the benefit. But then they put that study on the side of the bottle. They say, hey, increases endurance and stamina, and you buy the supplement, you pop it every day, and it's not doing anything for you, and all it's doing is bleeding your wallet dry. There's a lot of stuff, man. And ladies, there's a lot of stuff out there. And it's just, we have to have this conversation, because if we don't have this conversation, we're just going to be just getting eye fucked and ear fucked with all this stuff all the time, and people aren't going to know any better. And you're not a victim to it. You have the power to have this conversation too. That's why you're here and we're having this conversation. So I certainly don't know everything. I certainly don't have all the answers. I do have many of them, and I have my own opinions and my experiences. But when I see someone, again, I'll pull it up for those of you that are just joining us. When I see someone like this, for the latest YouTube video on my main channel, Swolenormous, when I see someone that's a vegan health coach, nutritionist, that's helping people lose weight, maintain a healthy weight, it's not that she doesn't necessarily know what she's talking about from a science standpoint, but you have to walk the talk. If you're going to call yourself a nutritionist and maintain a healthy weight, you better have a fucking healthy weight. You better look like you're maintaining a healthy fucking weight. Don't tell me that you're coaching people to a healthy weight when you're not at a healthy weight. It's hypocritical, and it's scary, and you can't hide that. We have to be careful with people hiding eating disorders behind hiding eating disorders, like I've talked about recently with Stephanie Buttermore, with her, being transparent about having eating issues and body image issues from dieting all the time and having a poor relationship with food. It's the same thing with 10,000 calorie challenges. When you do all these 10,000 calorie challenges, these extreme restrictions and then these extreme binges, that's a poor relationship with food. When you have a poor relationship with food and body image, and you try to guise that or you try to, cover that under a vegan, plant-based. I mean, it's just so common to see people that are plant-based or vegan that are extremely emaciated and skinny, but that's individualized. It just happens to be a lot of that's again a correlation. It doesn't mean that if you're a vegan that you're going to look like that. That's a correlation. It just happens to be a lot of people that are vegan end up looking like that because you're not eating enough food. You have issues with body image, so you're getting in not enough calories, and you're not doing the whole vegan thing properly. Like, there are ways to do it more safely, but for some people it just doesn't work. And a lot of people are either trying to force veganism into their life, and they're affecting their health because their body's not reacting well to it, so they're trying to force it. And there's other people that are just, just straight in denial that it just doesn't work for their body. It doesn't work for their body, and we can't let these things slide just because it's not about obesity. And it's a little bit more of a sensitive issue when you talk about someone who's skinny, because obviously when you have a extreme low body weight like that, usually the person has issues about it. But we got to hold each other accountable. And no one knows everything. No one's perfect. But it's important to recognize when shit doesn't smell right and it doesn't look right. And if you're pursuing nutrition and training and you're coming at this from the health standpoint health first, then the other things can fall into place. You can't go vegan first and plant-based this first and then make that health, because maybe that's not right for you. That's my point. If you're going after health first, you say, okay, I want to be healthier. I want to take care of my body. I'm looking for longevity. Now what can I do? Well, let me cut out this food and see how I react. Let me test this. Let me try this. I've never tried cutting down on meat, or I've never tried increasing and eating grass-fed for a while. So you try that. Like, you pursue your optimal health. Then if that leads you to veganism and you just feel amazing on it, then at least you went through the proper channels of pursuing health as the primary, and you ended up there. And if you like it and you adhere to it and you're healthy and everything checks out, mazel tov. Fucking enjoy it. Have fun. Go Hambone Jones. Get it? Hambone. It's a good one. But that's what we should all be trying to achieve. And if you are comfortable in your own skin, you're comfortable with being a vegan or carnivore or paleo or keto, wherever, and you've locked your nutrition down, you feel great, you're not going to get butthurt over these videos. You're not going to get offended. You're not going to get insulted. You're going You're going to understand where I'm coming from. If you're doing this for you for the right reasons, then it doesn't matter what someone says. If someone doesn't agree with you, you're like, well, fuck it. I love this. This is me. So it's self-awareness. It's knowing who you are. It's knowing why you're doing what you're doing. And then a lot of the other things, what people say, doesn't fucking matter what people say. If she's so happy with what she's doing, she feels great and she doesn't want to fucking change, the video that I make about her, not going to make a difference. A lot of people won't change anyway. You can't just tell someone to fucking change. They have to want to change. But maybe she'll get the help she needs. Maybe she'll get the support she needs. I just don't want to see someone just fucking eating themselves into a grave under the guise of being healthy. It's like, no, that's not fucking healthy either. It's not healthy to be morbidly obese, and it's not healthy to be a fucking skeleton. And I'm not going to sit here and be hypocritical talking about Tess Holliday and people that are just promoting healthy at every size and that end of the spectrum. It's negligence for me to address these extremely thin, emaciated. It just happens to be a lot of these people are fucking vegans. And again, it's not the fact that she had a profile and put pictures up. I'm not just looking at people and being like, oh, they look skinny, I can make a video on them. When you say you're a vegan health coach, when you're a nutritionist, that means you are coaching people. And someone like that from all aspects and from looking is just the farthest thing from being healthy, then we have an issue because you are disseminating information that could be extremely dangerous to other people. And it's important to recognize that this is not someone who is a healthy person. This is not someone who looks healthy. Mentally healthy? I mean, I don't know her, but you cannot tell me that that is a healthy physique. And vegan or not, someone should not be in that position and be giving information about nutrition. If you're going to give information and be a nutritionist and approach it from that aspect, you better look the fucking part. Okay? Trying to. Armo built on Instagram. What happened with Britney Dawn? Who the fuck knows? I made a video about her recently. You can check it out on YouTube. About her deleting her old videos. But I told everyone about the Britney Dawn thing. She wasn't going to change. I said this in my first fucking videos. I'm like, she's going to go back to doing the same old shit. It's going to be the same old fucking thing. And I'm going to make videos and cover it because no one else will, because it's not going to be trending anymore. So I made a video because she deleted her old videos and the same old bullshit. Same old fucking bullshit. I told you, people don't change. She thought you forgot. And a lot of people did. And a lot of people just get bored like, oh, I don't want to talk about Britney Dawn anymore. No one does. I don't want to either. I made another video because it was just fucking ridiculous. Because I called it. Ahmed Mokhtar on YouTube. I know this may sound stupid, but I've been trying for 2 years to get a dog, and my dad refused. However, he told me if you lose weight, you will get that dog. This is what gets me working out. Well, how old are you? I don't like it when, if you're overweight and you're young, yeah, you should lose weight because you want to have a healthy weight when you're young, especially going into adulthood. But you got to be very careful losing weight and cutting and stuff. I get a lot of messages from kids that are like, I'm 15 and I'm trying to cut, for X, Y, and Z. I'm like, dude, you shouldn't be cutting when you're 15. How many of you were thinking about cutting when you're 15 years old? I was fucking eating. I was exercising, running around. It's like, it's a shame. Kids shouldn't be fucking cutting. You shouldn't be cutting when you're a kid. Aqua642. If your body doesn't react well to a certain food or food in a certain amount at first, but you find that more frequent exposure helps, is it healthy to force your body to adapt to that? What's the context? Because usually if your body doesn't react well, that's a sign. If you more frequent exposure doesn't mean that it's better, because a lot of people deal with low levels of inflammation, and if your body is reacting poorly, there's something in that food that your body does not like. What your body will do is, if let's say you keep on exposing yourself to a certain food, by default your body wants to survive and not deal with issues as much as possible. So it's going to build up defense mechanisms, whether it's antibodies or just literal adaptations in order to handle what you're dealing with. I would not try to force your body to adapt to a food. I'm not sure what the context is. If there's any specific food that you're discussing here. Does Papa Swolio drink? Sure. I'll have drinks. I love scotch. I just don't drink often. And I haven't had beer really in a long time. It's just not something that I feel, I haven't been craving it lately. Yeah, whiskey. I like whiskey. JL Nelson, 1869 on Instagram. I appreciate all of your insight on health and healthy lifestyle. I need your no shit, my no bullshit attitude helps me keep me moving and motivated. Awesome. Thank you. What is cutting? Someone answered that already. Yeah, cutting is cutting down body fat. Usually when people say cutting, they mean they're cutting body fat. So yeah, kids should be playing. Kids should not be worried about cutting. Like these are fucking things, man. But here's another point. Okay, saying okay, kids shouldn't be dieting. Kids shouldn't be cutting. Kids shouldn't be going through all this. But why do kids have to? It's because they're being fed all this sugar, because they're overweight. If a child is overweight, they have to lose weight. But it's not the right mindset. You don't want to start plugging into his head like, oh, you want a dog, you better lose weight. That's not the right way to phrase that. It's about breaking habits and building proper habits. And we still have to get better at that as a society, as individuals, as adults. It's about setting habits and it's about breaking bad ones. And breaking a habit is just as hard as creating a new one. But having good habits for exercise and for nutrition, I mean, it's priceless. So what are your thoughts? I want to know. Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. Make sure all of you that are watching on Instagram, that are watching on all the platforms, make sure you also subscribe to my Daily Swole podcast channel on YouTube. That way you can catch the overlays and all that stuff. So you can catch it on Facebook as well. But I know a lot of you follow from YouTube, so make sure you subscribe to the second channel, Daily Swole Podcast, and drop your comments there. I'd love to read them. And of course, we will be here live tomorrow for the next episode. If you are a Daily Swole Club member or a Swolenormous X member, today we had our accountability meeting at 12 noon, so that is pinned to the announcements section in the private Facebook group, so you can go and catch that. Gave you some updates. There's going to be some polls in the private group that I want you to keep an eye out for. So make sure that you go and check that out, because I talk about some new releases and some new things that we're working on inside Swolenormous X. So for all of you, thank you so much for watching. Again, let me just pull this back up on the screen. This was today's video about unhealthy Emmy, as I titled it. Make sure you go check it out and drop your comment there. I'd love to hear what you have to say, because it's an important issue. And when it comes to health and nutrition training, it's about your lifelong and your long-term pursuit. And it's that difference between how you look and how you like the health. And we have to bring that health back. And so it's not just about obesity and fat acceptance and just being extremely overweight. It's about maintaining a healthy weight, but also approaching this from a neutral standpoint. So it goes both ways: extremely emaciated, skinny, anorexic, to extremely morbidly obese. Both of these things are health risks, and a lot of people deal with their body image in different ways. So we were going to talk more about that. So make sure that you tune in tomorrow. Turn your post notifications on. If you subscribe on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, but also hit the bell next to it so you get notified. Daily Swole Podcast on YouTube. And I'll see you all tomorrow for episode 1166 of the most muscular Swolecast, Beardcast, Broadcast, Gaincast, Mancast, Pimpcast, Sleevescast, and Slaycast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. Peace, McGee's fam. Deuce, Magoose. Ya boy, a Papa Swolio. Oh, out.